at that time by Sparrow, and the circus was on.
What's up, YouTube? It's Terry Knight. I'm about to be reacting to the best Larry Bird versus Internet Gangster story ever told. Let's get into the video. Like, comment, subscribe. This should be interesting. I'm not sure what this video is about. I'm pretty sure it's about Skip Bayless talking about Larry Bird. Let's get into it. Should be interesting. Let's go.
Michael Jordan never beat Larry Bird in a playoff game. Larry Bird's Celtics went 6-0 against Michael's Bulls. Never beat them, and it was sweep. In fact, it sounds like maybe even Larry Bird was better than Michael Jordan.
Watkins and Bird. Bird. Oh, what a touch. Bird. That's his game. He's probably the best that ever played at the game from that distance at his height. Over Watkins. He knew that was going in. He was fading back on defense as soon as it left his hands. Bird. Oh, what a shot. Does he ever miss? Hey.
I'm going to open with my Larry Bird at the Final Four story. I will be the first to admit I barely watched the Larry Bird game against DePaul.
Larry Bird, a phenomenal display. There's the timeout. Timeout to Paul. Larry Bird with 29 points has sparked the Sycamores into their biggest lead of the game.
Larry Bird went 35, 16, and 9 in that game, made 16 of 19 shots. 16 of 19? I barely watched.
If your home didn't sell, here's what you need to know. Most realtors just take a bunch of photos, sign the contract, put a sign on the front lawn, and just wait for the phone to ring. If it was that easy, your house would have sold right away. If you want to sell your house in Vaughan, King, or the GTA for top dollar without paying an...
And a freshman for DePaul named Mark Aguirre, whom I got to know very well in Dallas, did have the last shot in that game. Little long, bounced high off the rim.
Well, they're going for the win. Oh, one shot. Gambling. You're going to know when to hold. You're going to know when to fold. Aguirre. Here it goes. The ball over. Indiana State has won it. The Sycamores are 33-0. It'll be that clean matchup. Urban Johnson of Michigan State, Larry Bird of Indiana State.
That would have been a game winner. So I'm not that impressed. They probably should have lost to DePaul, but they didn't. But the point of that evening was I barely watched Larry Bird. And of course, I adjourned to Gil's hospitality suite after I finished writing. Later in the evening, Gil Brandt pulls me aside and he says, listen, I got something for you. I've been talking to these coaches all day long, all the biggest coaches in college basketball, and they all tell me that Larry Bird will not be a star in the NBA because he is, and this was the quote, he's too slow-footed, said Gil Brandt to me. Too slow-footed, okay? And he said, a few of the coaches believe he won't even make it in the NBA because he's too, quote unquote, slow-footed. Okay. Well, again, I barely watched the guy. And I said, okay. And I go back to my room and I think about it. I sleep on it. I get up Sunday. I've got to write for Monday's paper. Finals, obviously, Monday evening. And I wrote it. You know, I couched it as many coaches here believe that Larry Bird will not make it in the NBA because he's too, and I used the quote, slow-footed. I trusted Gil Brandt. He wasn't going to lie to me. He wasn't going to exaggerate. I believe that those coaches told him just that. But I wrote it, stuck by it, felt pretty good about it on Monday night when, predictably, Magic and Gregory Kelser had their way with Larry and the Sycamores. It really wasn't close.
Look at the pressure around him. 2-3 net, and he's short. Bird, way short. Bird hanging, can't score.
Larry Bird has had a cold shooting night.
Look at Magic, not only were you a leader on offense, I thought you did a great job on Larry Bird in the zone denying him the ball.
Yes, Coach gave us a good game plan to go against Larry Bird, and all we had to do was go out and do it. That's what we done.
Congratulations, Super Bowl game.
Magic was the star of the night and the star of the draft.
The Los Angeles Lakers select Urban Magic Johnson, Michigan State, 6'8", 200 pounds.
So, okay. Skip Bayless didn't know about Larry Bird much. That really shows you how the media is, man. It's like, it's hearsay. It's whatever the coaches were saying. You know what I'm saying? The coaches don't really know what or who Larry Bird is. They don't. They've never seen anything like it before. They haven't seen anybody that doesn't move as fast as they would want them to move, to dominate in a way where someone's like extremely athletic, like a Michael Jordan or like a Julius Irving, or even more so, because he dominated the NBA even more than Julius Irving. You know what I'm saying? So they never seen it before. So how do you expect them to know if he would do well in the NBA, especially based off of the things where they're saying like he just moves slow, or his game he moves at his own pace? Honestly, I believe he moves at his own pace because he can turn on the Jets if he wants to, but he knows how to control the game. He has the game moving at his own pace. That's when you have control. That's when you have the dominance. So people didn't understand what they were seeing. Skip Bayless didn't really watch his games. Heard from one of the other editors or whatever his name was. I can't remember his name. One of the media guys, probably high-profile media guys. He doesn't think that those guys would lie to him, or the media guy would lie to him. He probably didn't. It's probably coaches actually saying that. But coaches don't know everything. Coaches are going to be wrong. They were dead wrong. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best players of all time. He's like the top two small forwards of all time. He's all the way up there. You could put him in in the top 5 of all players to ever touch a basketball. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they were dead wrong. Too slow-footed. No, if he moves slow, the defense is going to move slow, and he's still going to get his bucket because that's how he plays. He's going to move slow, and then he's going to blow past the defender. That's his game. He's going to move at his own pace. He's good at changing pace. And there wasn't anybody else before him that did that. They just didn't know what they were seeing. Yeah, they were dead wrong.
And back I went to Dallas, Texas as a young gun columnist on the rise. And I had already scheduled a speaking appearance. It was sort of a banquet that I was going to speak at the end of. And the organizer says to me, you better be ready because they are riled up at you over your Larry Bird column. They are? Really? Okay. I'll be ready. So I spoke, and then I opened it up for questions, and I got hit right between the eyes by an angry mob. They barraged me with questions. How dare you? How could you?
I feel like I'm the most hated guy in town. Now I can't go back to the morning news for fear of being gunned down by the guards. Go back to clean out my desk. I haven't even done that yet. And I feel like I'll walk in the Times Herald and 20 staffers will dive on me and string me up from the fixture or something. You know?
And it became very clear to me that Larry Bird did indeed represent to these folks the great white hope. Not white eye, white oak.
Reed gets it to Heat. Heat the clutch player. Second time he did it. Time is over. Game is over. Bob Heaton keeps Indiana State undefeated and on to the Final Four.
Larry had to do more with less. I think, frankly, that Larry Bird getting the 1978-79 Indiana State team to the finals with a 33-0 record is the single greatest personal achievement in the history of college basketball.
Those folks believed in Larry Bird, and they believed he was going to be not just a star, but a big star in the National Basketball Association And were they ever right?
Was the baddest son of a gun on the planet. In a league with Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Dr. J. He was the best player in the world when the NBA was at a greater level.
In the world.
It ain't the same NBA. This sucker won 3 straight MVPs.
Let me ask you this. Would
Magic couldn't get through him at one
point. The best
point.
player in the world right now?
I believe he would.
Oh, he'd be better than Kevin Durant.
I believe he would. Yes,
no, he wouldn't.
I believe he would.
No, he wouldn't. Okay,
Larry Bird, if his back didn't give out on him, if he didn't have surgery, if his body didn't fail him, we're having a whole different conversation about Larry Legend. I'm sorry. He had it all.
I eventually learned that you have to see for yourself in my position. You have to trust your own instincts. You have to learn in my job that coaches constantly get fired because a lot of them don't know as much as I know. And that's the God's truth. That's the one thing I can tell you that I will take to my grave. A lot of them don't know more than I know. And I will just quick aside. I made one other mistake in my career, maybe not quite as big as Larry Bird, but this happened before that. What was it? 98 draft, Peyton Manning versus Ryan Leaf. They filled my ears all year about Ryan Leaf. And I fell right back into the trap. And obviously, I went with Ryan Leaf in that draft, and I was dead wrong, but not nearly as wrong as Bird. But the point is, trust yourself. And the conclusion of this story is that as Larry Bird rolled on into the NBA and made me look dumber and dumber, we came upon March 10th of 1986. Larry on his way to Dallas, Texas to play the Mavericks for his one stop a year in Dallas at Old Reunion Arena.
A very dangerous offensive team. They leave it outside for Larry, and he picks up right where he left off in San Antonio. Key to 40 now with 4:40 left in the half. Aguirre counts the basket.
And by the way, the irony of that story is Mark Aguirre used to tell me as a Maverick, you can't believe what Larry Bird does to me. He just terrorizes me.
DJ looking for Bird on the baseline. Now finds him in the middle. Little jump. 2.
Imagine the media guy hearing that. A current NBA player. You know what I'm saying? A current NBA player is talking about another NBA player. You can't believe what Larry Bird does to me. Oh my gosh. Traumatized and all. He kills me. He kills me every time I guard him. He kills me. You can't believe it. That's insane, though. Like, who is really going to admit that or go to a media guy and talk about and vent about how bad his situations are when he has to guard Larry Bird? I mean, I guess because it's like, okay, it's kind of a known fact that Larry Bird's the best player in the world at that moment. So it's like he's comfortable saying that. But it's just crazy how he had guys just opening up about how bad he did them. Like, how much times they had to guard him, or like how much times they had to compete, and it was just a landslide. Like Larry Bird just destroyed them, dominated them, and like talking about it in the midst of your career is crazy to me. I don't hear that nowadays. Well, this guy killed me. I don't hear that. Man's had their pride is too high for that. So the fact that people can even say that during their career is nuts. It's nuts. I don't hear that often. That's how you know Larry Bird's special.
For Larry.
It's Mark Aguirre, who is an all-star.
Dennis Johnson takes it all the way, gives it to Larry Bird. Little up fake, little jump shot, little hoop. Bird is on a roll.
He trash talks me like nobody's ever trash talked me. He leans over into my ear and whispers stuff I can't even repeat to you. And he backs it up. I'm going to do this to you. And he does it.
Yeah. All right, inbounds to Bird. He takes it inside for a 2 and gets it with 11 seconds to go. Celtics foul Sam Perkins, and they're down by 1 with 10 seconds to go. Up for Sam Perkins. He gets that one, so it's a 2-point Dallas lead. And the Celtics bring it up court to Larry Bird from 3. Larry Bird! A 3-point shot with 4 seconds to go. And the Celtics lead by 1. Oh, mercy. Incredible. Here's the shot by Bird that won it and puts the Celtics on this road trip at 2-1 Thank you, LB.
Imagine the arrogance, the wonderful arrogance of a man who needs 2 to tie or 3 to win and says, let's roll the dice.
And by the way, he was on his way at that point to his 3rd NBA ring. He'd obviously won Rookie of the Year, and he was on his way to winning his 3rd straight MVP. So I went from wrong to wronger to wrong guest about Larry Bird. And so I decided that morning of that game to go to the shoot around at Reunion and see if I could catch Larry Bird, who did not do interviews. He was a tough one. He didn't care anything about anybody. He needed nobody's interview. Magic, just the opposite. I got to know Magic when he was a rookie, and he was just great to me, for me, took me up to his hotel room. He was all-time great. Larry, just the opposite. Different strokes, but both of them all-time great. So I thought, I'm going to suck it up, and I'm going to apologize to Larry Bird. Seeing, it's like I owed it to him, just see how he might react to that. So I caught him, and I said, I'm just going to take a second of your time. I was really wrong about you. I wrote blah, blah, blah. And he listened patiently for about 34 seconds. And he shrugged. He said, okay. And he walked away. And I deserved that. I deserved that put down. But the Boston writers told me for Larry, that was like a soliloquy. That was like doing a stand-up comic routine to even get an okay out of Larry. I do think deep down he appreciated it, but he wasn't going to give me back anything. He wasn't going to say, oh, don't worry about it. He just dismissed me with a shrug and an okay and a walk away. And I deserved it. And in the end, I learned about how you have to trust yourself. Now, I never, ever listen to anybody else when it comes to can he play or not play. You have to be the judge. You have to listen to the little voice in your head. You have to watch. You have to eye test. And you have to believe in.
Your wallet sucks. That's why we invented the Ridge wallet. Hey, I'm Daniel, one of the founders of Ridge.
You.
I believe that Larry Bird was just a little better than LeBron James has been so far through almost 17 years. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, LeBron posts an ode to Larry Bird. He played in Michael's era. He was actually better for a stretch than the quote-unquote GOAT was, the star of The Last Dance. Michael Jordan never beat Larry Bird in a playoff game. Larry Bird's Celtics went 6-0 against Michael's Bulls. Never beat them. And it was sweep. In fact, it sounds like maybe LeBron's trying to make the case that even Larry Bird was better than Michael Jordan. You win 3 MVPs in a row, and you do have 3 rings, and you were Rookie of the Year over Magic. So all that adds up to me that, LeBron was right. This man was so cold. He got this one right. He was so cold that he was even a little colder than LeBron has been.
Larry Bird at his best, LeBron James at his best.
Oh, I gotta go with Larry Joe.
You take Larry Joe.
Larry Joe for the win.
Skip, Reggie would take Bird over LeBron. Do you concur, my friend?
I do concur. In a hypothetical draft, would I take him over LeBron James to start my franchise? Yes, I would. And I don't think it's even close.
Now, you would think that Skip Bayless, as the ultimate contrarian, would be challenged by his co-host for such an opinion. However, this is one of the rare things that they 100% agreed on.
In terms of leadership, in terms of clutch, in terms of shooting ability, and overall championship credentials, not just trophies, but a mentality, Larry Bird gets the nod over LeBron James.
I'm guessing that right now about 80% of our viewing audience does not agree with either one of us.
Well, all that means is that they don't know anybody.
They don't know.
I would love to pick LeBron, but in terms of clutch, money time, there's no contest. He's not even in Larry Bird's class. Not even close.
It's not even close.
When it comes to being clutch, yeah, it's not close. Yeah. all around, you guys know how I feel. I would say LeBron is better all around. I put him at number 2, but not to say that like would give LeBron the basketball when it comes to like the last 5 seconds over Larry Bird. That's not because it's like it's a no-brainer. Larry is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, player when it comes to like putting the ball in the basket, in clutch time. So it's like, yeah. And LeBron, I haven't seen him be clutch in that level. I've seen him defer to other players. Kyrie, he's been clutch before like a game winner. You know what I'm saying? Leading up to the game winner, because if he didn't do all that work, they wouldn't have got to the game winner. You know what I'm saying? But it's like Ray Allen hit that game winner. Kyrie hit that shot that was like a huge shot for them to win that championship against the Warriors. So it was like, yeah, there's a lot of times. There's times we had game winners, but it's like it was not up to the level of Larry Bird, and I feel like Larry Bird proves himself even back then that yeah, when it comes to like game winners, yeah, he's in a different class for sure.
If you like stats, here's Larry Bird versus LeBron James season stats. While both are at the age of 30, Larry Bird averages more points, more rebounds, more assists, and has a higher field goal percentage. So when someone asks you, what is Larry Bird better at than LeBron? You can say pretty much everything.
Hold on, is he ahead of Larry Bird?
No.
No. What was Bird better at?
Bird's a better shooter. It's not close.
Obviously, Larry was a much better shooter than LeBron ever dreamed of being, because even from the free throw line, Larry was almost a career 90% free throw shooter.
I think Bird is as good or better as a passer, a much more fluid, much more natural passer than LeBron James, a creative passer. LeBron James, for a superstar, he's as good a passer as anyone outside of maybe Magic and Bird. Bird was a better passer.
And then as a passer, Larry Bird was gifted. He had that gift of seeing it before it happened. He just wasn't so much of a point guard as LeBron has often been, or point forward.
Yeah.
But Larry one year averaged 8 assists. So you can see he had the capability.
Oh my gosh. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Because it's like, if you think about it, LeBron, I feel like, is more of a point guard than Larry Bird, right? Because Larry Bird's off the ball most of the time. Like, Larry Bird's not bringing up the ball as much as LeBron at all. So it's like Larry Bird's ball dominant, but not in the way where it's like he's bringing up the ball. It's Johnson bringing up the ball. You know what I'm saying? It's not Larry. So Larry's off the ball. So imagine someone that's off the ball averaging 8 assists a game. They have to be really good at passing basketball and effectively, like passing it to get a bucket for someone else on his team to get a bucket. Like passing the ball with intention. You know what I'm saying? Like knowing where the person's going to be, knowing that person's going to score, and is going to have the opportunity to score when you pass it. 8 times a game, 8 to 9 times a game. That's very good. That's very good, especially when you're off the ball. Wow. Like, he's not a point guard. LeBron is more so like a point guard because he brings up the ball like he is. So it's like, wow. That's a crazy stat. 8 assists a game off the ball is insane.
Of getting up toward 10 assists a game.
Bird's a better rebounder. The fact is that Larry Bird didn't stay healthy, and the fact is that basketball is played so differently now.
Larry Bird, to your point, was a little better rebounder than LeBron. I don't think LeBron actually focuses on rebounding the way Larry did. And one year, Larry averaged 11 a game, which is pretty great. And then
11 rebounds a game. Oh my gosh, he's going crazy on the boards.
Let's not forget the fact Larry Bird made 3 all-defense teams. 3. He did it mostly roaming, playing center field, stealing, disrupting, just getting his hands on the ball and passing lanes. He did, but he made 3 all-defensive teams. That's hard to do when you're not exactly known for your defense.
When it comes down to the end of a game in a championship series, I would rather have Larry Bird have the basketball.
All I know is one game from my life, I want Larry Joe Bird taking my last shot. That guy from French Lick, Indiana. Game on the line, free throw, three, jump shot, whatever it was. I'll take Larry Bird any day or any night over especially LeBron James.
DJ again to make the inbound pass. The double team in Bird. Larry, fake.
That's
Ball
all
away.
crazy.
All right.
Unbelievable. There's no way on earth that I'd pick him over Larry Bird in the clutch. I can tell you that much. Larry Bird was not just a superior shooter from anywhere on the court, just like you highlighted. Not only was he a near 90% shooter from the free throw line, which LeBron could never brag about, but when you talk about money time, whether it's a particular juncture in the season where you're trying to position yourself for the playoffs, or you're talking about the last minutes of a game, or you're talking about the last shot in a game, or you're talking about a game 7, or you're talking about anything that indicates clutch, you simply can't pick LeBron over Larry Bird because you can pick almost no one in NBA history over Larry Bird. When it was money time, you knew where the ball was going, and you also knew there was little to nothing that you could do about it. It was just a matter of whether or not Larry Bird was going to make it or miss it.
But even despite all of those numbers, to those who actually saw Larry Bird play, the eye test is all they need.
If you give me both these guys and you say you can start your team with either Larry Bird or LeBron James,
Oh, you taking LeBron.
I'm taking Larry Bird and
you're
I'm
not.
taking my chances.
No,
Thank you
you're
very
not.
much.
You know why?
I know
No,
there
I'm
are other
saying
numbers that will support you on LeBron. I may lose this, but you know what? I'm going with these, all 4 of them. And I watched that dude dominate an era that has some of the greatest players of all time playing. This isn't a diss on LeBron. I'm not dissing LeBron. I love LeBron. We both love LeBron. Everybody appreciates how great he was. But as time passes, it's easy to forget how great Larry Bird was.
So all of that said, right here, right now, Larry Bird remains the greatest small forward ever, period, end of story.
Use this 15-second homemade method tonight.
That was a great video, man.
And the reason why you've never heard about it, the greedy.
That was a great video, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. What Skip Bayless had to go through. That's why I don't take what people say in the media that serious, because it's like, a lot of it's hearsay. Some of these media guys are not really watching the game as much as you think they are. It's proven, because even Skip said he wasn't really watching Larry Bird back in the day like that when he was in college, but he wrote a story on it based off of hearsay and what other people were saying, and he knows it would get a lot of attention because Larry Bird is hot at that moment. And it was Magic. But people saying that Larry is going to be one of the best players in the NBA when he gets into the NBA, his take was he was too slow. But he didn't know that himself. He's saying that whatever big media guy told him that got it from the coaches. Coaches don't know everything. Coaches are not going to know about Larry Bird and what he could bring to the table. But there's coaches in the NBA that did. The Celtics knew. When he got there, he proved himself, and he even exceeded their expectations. So it's like, you don't take the media that serious. To be honest, you shouldn't. It's just all about clicks, about attention, grabbing attention, and good publicity and bad publicity. It's all the same for them. They're going to profit on either side of the playing field. Any publicity is good publicity in their eyes. So yeah, either if it's good or bad. Well, yeah, that was a great video. Like, comment, subscribe. We already know how great Larry Bird is. We already know that we're taking Larry Bird over LeBron when it comes to being clutch. So it's like that's a given. But yeah, that was a good video. Even in the starting, hearing Larry Bird, hearing Skip's story about the whole situation, enlightening everybody and seeing how he was dead wrong. Even though it wasn't really his opinion, but yeah. But I'm gonna sign out. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna say a prayer. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Whoever's watching this video, I pray, bless them from the crown of their heads to the soles of their feet. Bless their family. Know that everything they go through in the trials, tribulations, as long as they have God in their heart, as long as they're putting God first and believing in God and having the right mindset, and treating others the way they want to be treated, and knowing in their mind, if they judge somebody and hold them to a standard and criticize them, God is going to hold you to the same standard. God is going to criticize you the same way, because if you do the same thing, or if you're not right in certain situations and there's things to work on, God is going to critique you just like you critique other people. So you gotta be careful with that. So you can't judge people, because nobody's perfect. Everybody has their flaws. Everybody has the things that they go through, and there's always more to the story. So in the name of Jesus, I pray, allow everybody to be humble, allow everybody to be understanding, and to love everybody, love that neighbor, as they would want people to love themselves. And show the love of God, and spread the light into the world, and be a good example for a Christian, because some Christians rub people the wrong way and create a whole stigma and create a whole like bad image for Christians. So in the name of Jesus, I pray. If there's anybody that's doing that, I pray that you bless their lives and you show them that things need to change and they need to work on themselves, and allow them to see that in that light, work on it, be positive, and make improvements. So in the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. So stay blessed, stay lit, and I'm out.